So I just got out of Flatliners, and wow, I this year. I mean, I've seen bad movies, and this isn't the worst, but this is one of the most inept movies I've watched all year. And I love how Sony just instantly didn't give this pre-screenings for critics. It just like it sent them a message that this is gonna be bad and gonna be really terrible, that they're embarrassed by it. And I love that they still release this movie anyways. But I'll give it a few good things about it. I think that the the first half is actually not too bad. I think that it actually is intriguing. And I think these characters were intriguing even though they were plain. And I thought that even though the story rushed it in the first act, and it rushes through the whole movie, but I thought that how it rushed it in the first act was better than the last two acts, and I thought that it didn't have to rely on the shitty jump scares, because this movie is fucking abundant, full of shitty jump scares that are so terrible and so overdone. And they're the ones that we obviously know that are gonna happen, like all these shitty horror movies that come out. But I will give this again some more credit. There is one scene in this movie, and it is brief, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but there is a scene where a character is looking in the direction of the camera, to the side, and right behind them, no noise, no loud screeches, nothing. There's just a something appears, and I thought that even though this movie is really shitty, that was really, really a great jump scare, because it didn't have any sound, it didn't make any noise or any movement that would trigger a reaction from just noise or a stupid jump scare. It was a jump scare, but it didn't have to rely on a shitty noise that made you go, "Oh, I'm supposed to be scared now." I liked how it took me a second whenever I saw this thing appear behind this person, and I didn't know what to think of it. My mind kind of stopped and was wondering, wow, this was really good. This was a really good jump scare. Um, but overall, besides a couple things, like I think the acting's fine, and this first act is okay, even though it's rushed. The second and third act are terrible because the story just goes off the rails in ways that the editing makes it so horrible. Like, there's a scene where this character gets stabbed in the hand and screams, and then it cuts to all the friends together, and then guy has a bandage on his hand. So you never see the progression of him taking the knife out or running away from this monster. Just cut, and he's there with a bandage. That is such shitty editing, and it was so horrible in how all these moments, even the jump scares, do this, where the editing is so bad that it'll instantly skip away from the moment that is quote unquote supposed to be scary, but it's got shitty jump scares. Besides that one scene, which that one scene was really good. That one jump scare was really should be given more credit. But it's sad because it's in a really, really shitty movie. And it's not the worst. I think that it does have a couple things. Like I said, that jump scare is so good. And then the first act is fine. And then the acting is fine. I thought Ellen Page was really good. I thought that all the actors were really fine. Diego Luna I thought was pretty funny. I haven't seen him in many things besides Rogue One. But I thought in this one he was a really funny character. And I thought it was stupid how he's just kind of a smart aleck character, and his friends call him a dick a couple times. But he's the one who's smart enough not to flatline. He's the only one who doesn't do it, and everybody is calling him a dick because he's a smart aleck. But he's the smart one, and he actually helps them out. So I really think that, again, there's so many things in this movie that don't add up or don't make any logical sense. Like the hand thing, where the guy gets stabbed and then he cuts away and then grouped together, bandage. Or how these, man, there's so many to choose from. How Diego Luna's character is considered a dick, but he's not really a dick. He's just a smart aleck sometimes, and he saves everybody and does a smart thing and not flatline. Like shit like that. It makes me wonder why it doesn't make any sense. And I know movies are supposed to be escapism and aren't supposed to make complete logical sense of what human beings are gonna do, but this was just overkill and so overly stupid. And there are other things, like the one girl who has the overbearing mother. You have it seem like it's building up because the girl's like, my mom won't let me go out, won't let me go do anything else. She just wants me to study and be the best I can be in this class and beat everybody, or in this degree. And then it ends by her fucking this other person, and then no, you don't see the mom again. She just says, I'm moving out, and then that's it. So there's no progression to that, and there's no point in the mother thing. It was stupid. I don't know, and the lines are really bad. Like in that scene where the mother sees or figures out the daughter's screwing that guy, and then the mother's just like, you shouldn't do this in this house, and the daughter's like, I'm moving out. You can't tell me what to do because I'm gonna move out and not be with you anymore. Like stupid lines like that, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's similar to that, where it's just a line that's so obviously done a billion times and it's stupid. That's really all I can give this movie. Is it's really stupid. It's very inept, and I really don't understand why it was made. The first Flatliners I just watched for the first time a couple days ago, and I thought, honestly, it was a fine movie. It wasn't bad, it wasn't amazing, but it was right in the middle, perfectly fine. The actors were all good in it, and I thought the score was really good, and I thought the idea was interesting. And the idea in the first act of this movie was interesting too, but they just go batshit in the next two acts and ruin it in a bad way. And it's funny because people, like, before I watched this, I saw that Kiefer Sutherland is in this movie, and he was. And he's in the first Flatliners in the 90s. And I don't get if he's the same character. They said that this is a reboot, but then you get Kiefer Sutherland and you don't see you don't hear his name, I don't think, in the movie. I don't think they refer to the character's name. And it would kind of make sense chronologically if these two exist in the same universe, if Kiefer Sutherland's character from the first Flatliners becomes Doctor in this movie, or a guy who is in charge of all this, but he isn't involved with Ellen Page and her crew and how they discover how to flatline. So I don't know if you could say this is a sequel or a remake. It doesn't make any sense. Again, just one thing, like, he's there in a couple scenes for a cameo, and it's pointless. And I think the only reason they did that, the only reason is just to get more butts in the seat. But get more butts in the seat for a 90s movie that nowadays is very obscure, because who in my age who doesn't go out of their way to watch older movies, who would know what this is? That's my age, that's 20-some years old. I feel like a lot of people will not know what this is that are my age. I just like to go out and watch older classic movies, and there are a lot that I still need to watch. But I feel like nobody will know what this is, so I feel like it's a bad marketing ploy to try to get people to watch this, because who's nostalgic for a movie my age that wasn't born whenever that movie came out in 1990? So and even if they were born, they wouldn't be that old at my age. So I don't get who they were marketing this towards, and they made it seem very, very much a horror movie in the trailer, and it does have some scenes that are quote-unquote horror, but shitty scares. And I thought that the marketing, honestly, like, I didn't think this movie was going to be great by any means, but I thought the last trailer that they put was actually a really cool trailer, and it was really interesting. And it seemed like a idea that's plain, been done before, but like with the first Flatliners, but I thought that the last trailer that they made for this was actually really interesting. And I thought that it really kind of intrigued me, honestly. But then I watched the movie and just thought that this is, at best, has a couple okay moments, but as the more I'm thinking about it, the more worse it gets. The more I am finding flaws with it, the more I am getting more angry about it, and it annoys me so much that a movie will do that. Like a movie like this, where like at first I think it's okay, then it gets more and more actively bad. And I know that that's what their intent was. It's Sony. Sony always loves to do this. They love to make remakes of remakes, sequels of sequels, and not care about passion or heart in a lot of them. Like the new Ghostbusters, which honestly I enjoyed. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. But like that one, I felt like was kind of cynical too. Like we didn't need it. I mean, it was fine that we have it. For me, I liked it okay, but did we really need it? And this movie is instantly just going to be forgotten because nobody knows what the '90s Flatliners was if they're my age, and I'm not trying to just say I'm the only age that goes out to see movies, but your younger crowd is not gonna know what this is. For the really the majority of people, will not know what this is if they're younger crowd like me, unless you're an active movie fan and like to see older movies that you did not grow up with, and I do that. So I thought that I don't get who this is marketed for. This movie was just it. It's becoming more retroactively bad as I keep thinking about it. It really is, and it annoys me so much. But man, I really we got American Made this week too, and I miss that to see this first. I'm gonna see that after this, but still, fuck, this was really bad, really bad. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.